My name is Brian Mihalik and I'm doing my project on the War of 1812. During a section of the Napoleonic Wars, the U.S. traded with France and Great Britain. Britain impressed American sailors that were suspected of being deserters from the British military. Britain didn't like that the U.S. was trading with Britain as well as France during the Napoleonic Wars, and confiscated goods they thought were being shipped to France. The United States stopped trading with Britain and said that they wouldn't trade until Great Britain stopped impressing citizens of the U.S. The United States and Great Britain started negotiating terms, but were not able to come to an agreement. The United States, under James Madison, declared war on Great Britain. Great Britain repealed all orders to confiscate goods on U.S. ships in an attempt to avoid war with the U.S., but didn't repeal any impressment orders. Because Great Britain didn't repeal orders on impressment, the war was not avoided. During most of the War of 1812, the British were busy fighting Napoleon and only sent enough troops to defend Canada from the invading U.S. The Battle of Tippecanoe was considered the first battle of the War of 1812, even though it was in 1811. The battle was between U.S. troops and Native Americans that Britain encouraged to fight the U.S. The defeat of the Native Americans crushed the dream of a Native American Confederacy, which could have been a problem for the U.S. during the rest of the war. Before Napoleon was defeated, most of the battles between the British and the U.S. were small and insignificant. The United States attempted to invade Canada, but were lacking in numbers at that time. After the British defeated Napoleon, Great Britain focused on the United States. The United States were confident that Washington, D.C. wouldn't be attacked and were not prepared to defend the capital when the British attacked it. This attack changed the dynamic of the war, from the United States attacking Canada to the defense of their lands. After the burning of Washington, D.C., the British started to send a lot of their troops to the U.S. There were many battles where the British lost a lot of men, but the greatest victory for the U.S. was the Battle of New Orleans. Close to the end of the War of 1812, after the Treaty of Ghent was signed, the British attempted to take New Orleans. The British expected the Americans to flee like they usually did when they saw the British military, but this time the U.S. soldiers held their ground. At the end of the battle, the British lost about 2,000 out of 7,000 men and had several hundred men captured, while the U.S. only lost less than 100 men. The casualties of the war were about 20,000 total, 5,000 British and 15,000 Americans. The Treaty of Ghent declared that the two nations kept all pre-war borders. Even though the United States didn't conquer Canada, which was their original intention, the U.S. still viewed the war as a victory because they felt as though they beat the British twice.